Well, it's been 11 months since we've stood here and talked about a defeat at Edgeley Park, but it's happened today. What do you put it down to today?
I think it's been coming if you look at some of the performances, but just a lot of weak. The mentality of the players at certain stages in the game was very weak, and I thought that the really poor goals. I mean, we started extremely well. It could have been 2 or 3-0 up very early on, and then we got the goal, and then just poor defending, slash clearances, misplaced headers, players dropping off and gaps opening up, people not recovering, and just like you said, they're just players who just sort of end up just drifting through the game and not really imposing their shape or their skills on the game.
You did have chances today, and as you say, you started so quick. Was that an instruction to come out of the traps early like that?
No. I think we've seen that against FC United, both games. But I think what we do is we erode our own energy and positivity by becoming very scrappy at certain points. And we'd have won that game at a canter if we had 11 Gary Stopfords. But unfortunately we haven't. We've only got 1 Gary Stopford who's trying to make the extra pressure on the back four to allow the skillful players. But I have to say that the skillful players didn't really impose themselves enough on the game and weren't effective enough. We got the ball wide on the right with Ben, and they got themselves into great positions, but the effectiveness of his crosses. Did we work on that in training? Yes. Did we get the players playing off the shape well? Not enough. We worked on that in training. Did we get loads of joy out of set plays, especially corners, and did we maximise our little weaknesses? We certainly looked like we were going to score from every corner. But then there was other stuff that we worked on, and I just think to myself, and I have to be honest, I think I'm wasting my time with certain players because it's basic instructions and they can't seem to, it doesn't stick. They kind of reverberate back to poor decision making, and so I need to have a chat with the board this week because I think we really need to change the mentality of the group at the moment. I'm sat on the sideline and I think that we've got players who are being told the same thing over and over again. We haven't got anybody who's leading. You take little examples out of them in terms of like squeezing up and catching us offside, and our back four just sinks and sinks, and our midfield gets drawn back, and then give the ball away too much. So it's a strange game because fans have gone away extremely disappointed. We lost 3-1. Made a tactical change to try and get a little bit more pressure on them to allow for the little gaps that were opening up, and we're not playing very effective at the moment, and we're extremely ineffective and poor when we're mentally tired.
Players can't be physically tired, can they? I know you were almost pleased to get back to Saturday, but it's just not translating into results.
They can be tired. There was a lot of body language, and then I just think what drives you through, and I think the mental strength of certain players wasn't there in terms of being able to do work, recover. The body language was apparent in certain players in terms of the way they were slouching off the ball. There were certain players that just sort of have a rest on the other side of the pitch, or have a rest in a poor position, don't know how to keep moving. There's only so much you can do. I mean, ultimately we're operating at a level that you're not going to get all the aspects you want. And I look back and I think some of the players I've worked with was it me or was it them? And I think it's certainly them because they bought into things. They knew how to become effective players. We've got players who just, I think they get coached and then they just drift through the game. And if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But we need more than that. We need better than that.
And next week, of course, a trip to Nuneaton, which probably on paper a couple of weeks ago looked like a relatively straightforward game, but they've had a great win today at home to Darlington.
Well, Darlington conceded 6 against Ferryville. It's just the nature of this league, but I'm really disappointed because, like I said, we're good enough to win these games. We're good enough to beat Darlington, and ultimately, there's a certain amount of responsibility on me as a manager. But I asked the lads, it was pretty calm in the change room. I just asked them, am I playing the best players? Am I players in a shape that suits you? Has anybody got any feedback in terms of, you know, and Gary wants to play a little bit more in the midfield. He doesn't want to be a 10, but he understands why I'm using him there. So, well, you played as a 10, you got man of the match. So, but he has a certain influence on the game, and it's like when I turned round to one of our defenders, and I think that, you know, an old pro once said to me, when you look at a defender, he's got to love defending, he's got to love clean sheets, he's got to love clearing the ball. And I look at our defenders and I think, do they love defending? Do they love winning balls and getting a foot in and clearing things? And when you look at the goals we've conceded, it's just like it doesn't really matter to some of them whether we keep a clean sheet, and that's disappointing. But I, going back to your point about are they fit enough? I don't think they are. I don't think they're physically fit enough. I don't think they're mentally strong enough or fit enough to be able to play under pressure or play when they're tired. And that's epitomised quite clearly by a couple of players. We are hampered a little bit. The physio's obviously saying to me that Adam Thomas is suffering from fatigue, that he's probably only got 30 minutes. Be careful with Ben McKenna, it's his first full game, and Clark is not probably fully fit, and there's other players that we have to be mindful of. And they're at the back of your head in terms of not asking too much from players who perhaps don't have it physically, but like I said, I'm coming back to mental strength on the pitch, and my biggest thing is I'm looking at the mental strength and thinking, how can I change that? I'm looking at the mentality of the players in terms of I'm having to say the same thing over and over again. And I'm actually disappointed in myself because I've come out of the box several times to say the same thing over and over again to the same player. And you know, the definition of a fool is the same. Is a person who does the same thing, expects a different outcome. I mean, I'm asking somebody to do something. If they don't, that doesn't register. I think all they hear is noise. They don't hear information. And I think that if they can't see the pictures for themselves, then we maybe have to either A, keep it simpler for them, or B, remove them from the side, because we've got players who just give the ball away for fun, and then after that don't actually react to defend. So quite a few issues. You look back at Stockport and other games and you think, wow, we've got something, and then you look at today and you think we kind of, as the game went on, we kind of started gifting the ball more and started becoming, and we eroded ourselves, and that's where I think I need people out there that can grab people, get them tighter, squeeze the line a little bit, pull people in, influence the game a little bit more than they are. Because at the moment I've got lots of players who can't even do their own jobs, never mind get the player alongside them to do a little bit more and squeeze. And that needs a big correction.
Well, listen, I appreciate your time. Thank you very much indeed. Cheers, Jim.